Okay guys, welcome to the final video of phase 1, which revolves around risk management. Okay, so although risk management is a very linear aspect of trading, and by linear I mean very straightforward, it's honestly one of the hardest, and I think it falls down to understanding who you are, knowing yourself. Why? Because at the end of the day, if you don't know yourself, you can't control your actions, and you can't control your decisions. Okay, so pretty much understanding, knowing yourself allows you to not only be more joyous, have a lot less inner conflict, better decision making, self control. Um, Honestly, it makes you a whole lot more calmer, if that's a word. Right? You feel a lot more calm, a lot more composed, right? And you're able to make logical decisions based on whatever research you've done. Okay, so right, I don't want this to be a psychology video. I want this to be more a risk management video, right? So risk management, right, it's essentially your ability to control risk, right? And not only the ability to control your risk, but your ability to be consistent with the amount that you're risking per trade, whether that's dollar signs or whether that's percentage, right? Obviously percentage preferred, and I'm going to tell you why in a bit. Okay, so risk management falls down to three categories, right? Which is the amount of money that's in your account that you've risked, right? The amount that you're risking per scenario per trade, right? And then the max exposure per day, per week, per month, per quarter, even. Um, so, right, in order to take that percentage based approach, you obviously have to know the amount of money in your balance to create the calculation, right? You have to know the amount of money that you're going to risk, right? Which would typically be 1 to 2% probably. And you have to know your max exposure. And by max exposure, I mean you have to know when to stop, right? This goes back to that self control aspect, right? The knowing yourself part. If you don't know when to stop, next thing you know, you're 10 losses deep, right? Your psyche is all over the place and you're just losing money and losing money and losing money. Why? Because you can't control yourself and you can't stop, right? So it's until you figure that stuff out that you actually are essentially are able to properly use risk management so that in the long run you see the benefits, right? So the only way you're going to see success with risk management is if you stick to it, right? um, Even with the style, if you have one banger trade, right, you're going to see a very high percentage return just off of a singular trade, right? But it kills you to not know when to stop. Let's say you take these 10 losses just so that you can then get a 1 to 10 just to come back to break even, right? That's 11 executions. Okay, so right, back to the topic, right? If you're trying to go from a percentage standpoint, in order to find the amount of risk, or pretty much the lot size that you're using based off the percentage risk aspect, you have to know the percent that you're risking and your account balance, right? Um, so pretty much as you can see on the screen, I have a small, very small model per se, right? Let's say you typically, just a typical sized account, I say it's $5,000. Not too much, not too little. I would definitely say that majority of people, before knowing about percentage risk, really focus on 0.01 per 100, 0.01 per 50, right? But I've seen more 0.01 per $100, right? So let's take this consideration in a scenario with two different approaches. There's the approach of 40 pips, which is let's say about a $200 risk, right? As it says on the screen, right? That means that your lot size is 0.50 because you're risking 0.01 per 100. So if you go to $5,000, right, that's a 0.50 lot size. So let's say your trade idea has 40 pip risk and a 120 pip TP, right? That means that you're risking $200 for $600, right? Hence 1 to 3 risk to reward, hence 4 to 12%. Okay, so it's the exact same scenario, but now from a percentage aspect, right? And with this model, you can easily have a 10 pip stop loss. Okay, so if you're risking 1% and you're risking 10 pips, then your lot size is a 0.50, which is the exact same lot size as the previous scenario, right? But you now have a 10 pip essential risk, which is a $50 risk, which is 1% of your account, right? To then potentially get the same target, which is 120 pips, which is a $600 target, right? So nothing changes besides the amount that you're risking, right? So in the long run, the risk to reward for scenario 2 will completely outweigh scenario 1 because you're risking so much more, right? And what does that fall down to? What we talked about in a previous video, which is efficiency. You want to be efficient with how you risk your account, how you manage your account, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Efficiency is the key. If you cannot be efficient, right, then the entire longevity process might take a lot more time than somebody who is efficient, right? So just remember, right, efficiency is key. Okay, so that pretty much concludes phase 1. Phase 2 will probably cover everything in regards to structure, so I'll see you guys there.